Okay, welcome, Walker. Thanks for being part of the case study.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to just kind of document your experience. We had the opportunity to do some outdoor sound healing sessions,
Right.
and you've also had an experience working in my studio as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just share your experience, kind of like where you've come from and what you're working on and
Yeah.
how it all worked out for you.
Okay, for sure. So I've struggled with chronic anxiety and depression for a long time. And I went through an episode of being on heavy medication and then having to go cold turkey off of it. And I wasn't trusting in traditional therapy anymore because it was helping, but even the therapist was explaining that they were struggling with how I already knew what my problems were, it seemed. I just didn't know how to actually address them. And this has also helped now in helping me find aspects of myself or even my lifestyle patterns just through taking a moment to breathe and take in myself, like actually do some real deep meditation. And it's helped me now to find things that I didn't know about before, which is good.
That's great. And how long have you been on this healing journey?
I'd say just roughly it started when I was around 14 or 15 for sure, like my depression.
Yeah.
So it's been going on now 15 plus years because I'm going on 32 now.
Yeah.
And so it's only been within the last year, just over a year now, that I've really been tackling new routes outside of just the traditional system.
Yeah.
And it's going well so far, but it's only been a year, so
Yeah.
lots to learn still.
Well, thank you for being open to share and explore with us.
Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully what we discover will help others.
Mm-hmm. No, that's the hope for sure.
Yeah. So let's just talk about the sound healing experience in the studio compared to your experiences working in the forest
Right.
or the natural environments.
Mm-hmm. That's where I found personally that the studio serves really well if I'm already in halfway of a good space, because then I'm already semi-comfortable to begin with while I'm at the studio, where your studio makes it super easy, there's no question. But there's something about then being outside in nature where even through your instruction especially, that you have to focus on like the details of what's around you, like the tree patterns, leaves and branches cascading across the sky, whatever you choose. But I find that helps to really go along with your breathing and then get you to that halfway point, maybe if you needed that extra cushioning to get started.
And when you compare the studio environment or nature compared to going to a clinical environment or a doctor's office or a hospital,
Right.
like is there a big difference for your body based on like the setting around you?
Definitely. And it's not just aesthetically. Like, of course, there's a huge difference between your studio and then having the studio instruments or your instruments in a very ordained environment where we've set it up somewhere. And then compared to, say, a clinic or a hospital, even in a doctor's office, it's so sterile looking and feeling. And sadly, it's just a truth that I've come to realize, anecdotally even, but the people who work for these facilities are extremely underhanded and extremely burnt out the majority of the time, and they're at their wits' end. So you can tell that their intentions are pure, but they're short-handed to begin with, so they're trying to help you with a short deck. And that's where, in direct comparison, you've now become a friend of mine, but you're also just friendly and welcoming in general. And there's a lot of aspects of companionship or understanding, at least, and a safe space to just be, not have to go, okay, this person's gonna ask me X, Y, and Z, and I'm gonna have to think about what I'm gonna answer, how I'm feeling. It's like, no, you feel welcome. Where the other one is more of an obligation and a very sterile,
you become a number in the system.
Yeah, you can
right?
tell, like,
Yeah.
they're friendly and they really want to help you, but you are a number in the line when you're in those environments.
And you have such a short amount of time, and or even going to like a walk-in clinic, you're allowed to ask one question about one thing. And
Right.
when you think of being kind of working on the holistic aspect, mind, body, spirit, like that just doesn't work in that system.
No, and just personally, but those environments, because of how stress-inducing they can be for me, that feeds into the physical. So then it kind of becomes a spiral, even when you're momentarily in those places, where being in nature, being in the studio, has definitely been a good helping point for me to be in a more clear and welcoming mindset, even just to embrace my own healing further or try to understand myself more.
Yeah. I find that outside, like, we have all this space, and typically in these sessions, like, we also have a lot of time. Like, there's not,
Right.
okay, we have 15 minutes, or you're waiting for an hour and then you feel rushed. Like,
Yeah.
there's the spaciousness really allows a settling and an opening.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, by far.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Would you say you're a sensitive person?
I used to be, but
Yeah.
now I think my threshold's just really low. So I'm not necessarily sensitive. I got kind of thick skin, or I understand things a little bit more on a deeper level to some degree,
Yeah.
regarding things that come at me or things that would negatively affect me. So I can allow it to roll, but with my conditions and my life not being easy all the time, especially with my anxiety and depression, and then histamine condition of urticaria, my cup's always painfully full. So that's where my sensitivity can come in, is I can't tolerate a lot if it's too much. Like, if
Yeah.
it starts to actually build into my threshold, then it becomes a problem.
I'm trying to see the patterns with other people, like just knowing myself and how I've created the environment is like, this is what I need and how I need to be supported, and I'm trying to create something that I have been lacking in my life.
Right.
And it's just interesting to think about, like, okay, are we aware of these clinical environments and the lighting or the noise or the stress, because we have this capacity to kind of feel a little deeper than others, and that's
yeah.
why it's bothering us? Or
No, and especially how we're plagued kind of with living in the present, past, and future all at the same time. You're then riddled with the stresses of things that haven't even come to pass yet. Like, you're already thinking about what shoulda, coulda, woulda been in the future, but it's then exponentially worse usually because of these environments and what that inspires in your imagination. So yeah, it's definitely the polar opposite, where even then, if you start thinking about things that can go wrong, it's things like, oh, the weather didn't hold up, or you got attacked by 1,000 mosquitoes. Not, is this person going to directly contribute to my trauma and to my stress?
yeah. Speaking of mosquitoes, on, I think, one of our first sessions for the case study,
Right.
Because for your part in this study, we really wanted to focus on outdoor, because you had experience working with me in the studio.
Right.
So you had that frame of a reference already. But for the first day that we went out into Bose Forest Park, we had a lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah, painful amount.
And that was a little distracting. Like, we thought, oh, let's go out into the forest. It's going to be beautiful and calming and grounding. And then we had mosquitoes.
And they were nasty. Like, they hurt. I was trying to ignore them, and they were really
So how do we embrace
hurting.
those moments of, like, okay, we have this idea of how life is going to work out, and then we're hit with this unexpected addition? So
I guess that could be included in even the point of having that extra time together when you're with a client or when I'm with you, is if you have a problem like that and it gets bad enough, you then have the time to, like, maybe go to just a different area, like take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, get to a better area,
Yeah.
and then just resettle, get back in, and then continue right where you were at. But yeah, I think that's where the buffer room in time really helps for things like that, especially, or even for myself, chose to try and grin and bear it. It gave me time to like actually have them kind of eat at me, for the mosquitoes specifically. And then I was able to put my mind back into the session properly, even with the mosquitoes.
Yeah. I think we chose to frame it as, okay, this is a test.
That's right. And I think we passed, because I still consider session 1 to be really successful.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, we got some amazing photos of you in the forest. I mean,
Right.
it looked so awesome.
And that video footage was really cool too.
Yeah. It was kind of nice to document that. Another thing that I really appreciated about that session was just in those moments when I show up, it's nice when it's surprisingly quiet and peaceful and no one else is using this public space.
Right.
Like, I'm surprised that people don't use the forest more.
We're getting there.
Yeah?
Because we're seeing it now, I think. I'm seeing not just yourself, but more and more people are taking up the mantle of trying to get the word out there and trying to spread these types of practices and ideologies. So
Yeah.
that's the goal, is to be troubled by too many practitioners trying to take up park space or forest space.
And it was part of the learning, like when we try these new things, it's like, okay, we have to be mindful of potential animals or insects or
Right.
the weather.
Slippery conditions,
Yeah.
proper attire, everything.
Yeah. Okay, let's shift to, from that first experience, is there anything you want to talk about the first session that came up for you? Do you remember?
Only that it showed me that I'm not drawn to certain focal points or like landmarks. I can sense certain energies around me, but when it comes to trying to find a spot for meditation or a good healing spot, it's really just wherever I'm at with the practitioner. So like I sat just right in the middle. I didn't feel called to anything around me. I just plopped down. So that taught me a lot about kind of my environmental awareness when it comes to trying to settle down, that I don't have to be specific myself on trying to find a good spot before I begin.
And the second session, we chose to do it in my backyard and garden.
Right.
Because it was a little more protected. We thought we'd have less mosquitoes.
Yeah.
We got to sit under the big maple tree.
Right.
That was nice.
Yeah, the maple tree was something else out of that whole session, even though the root chakra chime.
Yeah, so talk about what came up in that session for you.
Okay. I enjoyed that we started with the chakra chimes, and as we went through them, I really noticed again, it wasn't the first time with you that we've noticed a root chakra occurrence that needs some attention. And that chime specifically really drew attention to me because I didn't know what order you were playing them in. You did say, but I can't tell just by tone alone, but there was something about that one in the higher frequencies that was really getting to me. It was just making me feel uneasy, not all throughout, but there was something about it that really just made me feel uneasy. And then as we went through the session, we got to visit the maple tree, and I saw the spider web that was on the branches of the tree, and it reminded me of a funny thing that I discovered through these healing processes, is that I'm feeling more connected to just protective nature, like a mother spider or a parent of some insects. And it was nice to see the web, just because it reminds me that that's what I'm trying to do and other people like me are trying to do, is like take the hardships of reality, but then even shepherd our friends or shepherd the people around us as we can. So I connected really deeply with that, especially because the intricate bark patterns were amazing to look at, because I could only imagine the diversity of moss and other fungus and insects that were living in there. And then when we reapproached the root chime at the end, it definitely didn't feel as strange. It was just maybe I had gotten used to it or something, but it definitely felt a little bit more palatable.
So at the start of the session, it kind of hit you a bit hard.
Yeah.
And then by the end, when we re-scanned your body through all the chakras,
Mm-hmm.
things had settled or opened.
Yeah, definitely. Especially by the end.
Yeah. And typically, I think the sessions were probably about 30 to 45 minutes, right?
Yeah, it was like roughly 40, 45 minutes, yeah.
Good. And then the final session, I think we kind of did the same thing in the garden.
Right.
And I usually try to change it up. I'm trying to remember. Was it that we did the same kind of protocol with the Tibetan bowls, or we just focused on the specific chakras? Was there 3?
I believe you had said that you were trying something new because before that session, you got me to actually say which instruments had called to me or like worked the best.
And then we focused on those.
Yeah, because then you're like, okay, these are the ones that we can now narrow down to what has been called to you or that appeases you the most or you find the most healing or relaxation with. So then you gathered those. You gathered the basic ones that were helping me the most.
I think I had the big Tibetan bowl.
Yep.
I had the wind chime, or like the meditation chime, and I had the energy chimes in specific chakras.
Right.
And we also recorded one of the sessions, so I have that on video as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we got to kind of like observe. It's always fun to kind of like play it back and see what it even looks like that I'm doing.
Oh yeah. No, I mean even me, like
Yeah.
I have no idea what it looks like from the outside, and that recent footage that you took of me with my robe on is some of the very rare footage that I ever get to see. Like even in a mirror, it doesn't do it justice to see what it looks like out in the wilderness.
Yeah, I really liked that video. It's very powerful. So typically for the case studies, I've been meeting people weekly, but for you and our schedules, we were only able to meet like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we weren't able to meet as quickly for this video, so it's been 2 months.
Right.
So we're trying to recall everything. How did you feel as far as the time lapse in between sessions? Was it too spread out? Did it come up quickly for you? Like as far as like timing, what did it feel like?
Right. That's where if I think back, and I didn't make a note of this because I could edit my journal entry, but I didn't make a note of it at the moment. That it was the first session or 2, or it was like session 2 or 3, because the first one just came, and then the 2 weeks in between was pretty rough between session 1 and 2. But then, because session 2 went so well in just bringing awareness to certain things or further understanding of the root chakra or how I feel about my vulnerabilities and intimacy in general, the following 2 weeks was actually really helpful because then the first week was sort of digestion and meditation on my own pace. And then week 2 was actually full embracing and welcoming of what I had come to understand from week 1 and that session. So at first it started off really rough and I didn't like the gap, but then afterwards it became advantageous for me to have that downtime to
Integrate.
Yeah, and try it out for a week.
Yeah.
And then see.
I think that's good feedback because in the beginning, I think if people come to me for support, they may be in kind of crisis or stress and they probably need more support in a shorter amount of time so they can kind of get through that challenging time.
Yeah.
And then just once they get settled into the modality, spreading it out so that they have more time on their own.
Yeah, so long as, in my opinion, just speaking from my personal experience, but then as long as they had the tools and the proper support system outside of the sessions, then that could be very supplementary to work in tandem together instead of just trying one or the other.
Because another case study participant, Leslie, we just did another video follow-up. It's been about 4 months now.
Right.
Her chronic pain is still doing well, but she's noticing she's now feeling like she needs another session, but it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
So she's kind of deciding, like, once she's gone through the kind of the therapeutic dosing, in essence, like the number of sessions right at the start being more frequent, then we were able to spread it out once she felt relief. And now it's more of a maintenance plan, in essence.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, now if you have something that's manageable or semi-manageable, it's like seeing the chiropractor every so often instead of needing care every day. Yeah.
And the other thing, in the beginning, she came for sessions more frequently and also had a home practice of using a tuning fork. So I gave her a tool to use at home, and she was consistently doing it. But in the 3rd month, she took 100% break from everything. And I think that if she had maintained the home practice, maybe it would have even lasted longer. Yeah, so we're still kind of like playing around with what does frequency look like, and
right.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's something I'm glad I discovered, though, is that luckily I have enough structures from my therapists and family to actually do a little bit of like therapy and meditation in my downtime. So then the healing session and then having the gap was amazing to have that.
So tell me what it feels like for you to have the music supporting you. Like, how is it different than just talk therapy or counseling or popping a pill and having that medication support? Like, are you able to put words to that?
Yeah, it's quite complicated though, because the medication part, from my personal experience, both the antidepressants and anti-medication were just emergency numbing agents. And sure, they helped to bring me away from the edge, but then they put me in the polar opposite direction of making me like have manic attacks from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. Yeah, that was not helpful at all.
So with the sound, it's supportive, but it's not numbing, it's not...
Oh, yeah, no, that's where it actually allows me to focus on something because my brain is so active. It's incredibly aware, painfully at times, of everything. And so to have my brain actually able to not necessarily slow down, but then have a really serene or rhythmic focus just to latch on to, because then it can remain busy, but then it's focusing on the tonation and the rhythm and the patterns. So it doesn't necessarily mean kill switch on everything and halt and slow down. It just gives you a peaceful space to really lock in on yourself, on your environment, on the feeling of everything.
I like the word rhythmic because it really brought me to the sensation of, that like the drum beat or the heartbeat or the the consistency, the rhythm, the pattern, right? Like in life, if there's trauma or there's stress, it like disrupts that regular pattern, right? Like that. So to bring us back into this, I don't know how to explain, like to resync our pattern or disrupt that dysregulation and bring us back into rhythm. I like that. Yeah. You can really feel that, actually.
Oh yeah, and it also, in my opinion, it invites where people may feel extra stress or anxiety or pressure about speaking back and forth during such an intimate or potentially intimate session, where the music does all the speaking, like except for your guidance or your comments.
And when you're feeling the frequency or the music around you, is it distracting having a practitioner talking to you, guiding you, or does it interrupt the peace or the flow?
I think it's a really interesting learning curve. It's for some people it could be automatic, or for some people it might not be obtainable to like balance the two, but I found that it was a very steady learning curve, because it is a unique approach that I've heard about, but I've never experienced except for your sessions. So it was kind of a learning curve where, okay, you're going to have to be or you're going to enter, or you're going to be focused on deep meditation, and then guidance or comments from yourself will come in. But it's just a balancing act, because you don't have to, it's tough, but like you don't have to then quit your relaxation or meditation. You can just kind of blend it in. And that's where I'm glad that you also say that you can, or the person like myself can ask questions or make a comment. That way if you miss it or something, like, you know, you're too hyper focused on the meditation, you're zoned out, just ask. Just be like, I heard you, or whatnot, but I'm sure it's all good.
And it's nice to kind of just check in with a client, or like the invitation is there to follow along, or if you're in deep process and you're liking it, just ignore my suggestions, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Did you find participating in and receiving kind of the sound healing and nature and forest therapy meditations, it helped with sleep, or it helped reduce the anxiety, or were there anything that you were able to track? Because I know you were journaling, right?
Oh yeah.
So what did you notice shifting, or what was supportive?
Right. It was mostly focused on my mental state, which got more relaxed. It might have not cured anything, but it definitely opened my perception to myself a little bit, even after session 1. And then that helped me to not think about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or project too far into the future and make myself anxious about things that haven't happened yet. And so it did help to calming me just in that alone, that I was able to take a breath, and then the symptoms from everything were lessened, because the stress feeds into my histamine condition, which then feeds into my stress. So it was almost automatic that even from session 1, I started to notice I was getting less frequent headaches. My appetite was coming back. I was able to be more productive with, say, just more in-depth chores, like actual cleaning, not just dusting. And
so motivation.
Across the board, just from the understanding alone. It could have been a lot of things, but I felt just more clarity. So I felt more motivation, more determination, just more inspired to actually try harder. Like, because I always kind of thought I knew, but like what would enhance things. But now I'm actually getting the energy to try and tackle this directly.
And I'm just also curious, from the kind of practitioner-client relationship, like how I'm able to kind of care and serve my clients is very different than the traditional model.
Oh,
so
for sure.
I know we have to have like boundaries and everything, and like we have to be professional, but I really see that there's something about the human connection and the actually being able to care for someone and know them as a friend or have a relationship. That's kind of missing from our modern world, and the professionals we go see, that it's very head focused. It's clinical, it's academic, but it's not very heart centered. And a lot of the healing we're doing is very energy, heart centered. Like loving someone. So how would you express kind of the difference between how you're cared for in the traditional medical system and then an alternative, more holistic practitioner?
That's where I find that with people like yourself, or even in our client practitioner basis, there is the potential to become friends, and we have become friends. But that's where it's even a whole other world within itself. Because in the traditional and can only speak from here, but like the Western clinical approaches to medicine and therapy, it's so cold. Even if they try to wear the mask of being empathetic and sympathetic, which they can be, they can only reach so far, because professionally and on that line, they're only allowed to connect to emotionally so much, when all of this has to do with your emotions and your spirit and how that's all intertwined. So I see that as a huge, like, a roadblock right in the foundations of what it's trying to do, and then what it's actually capable of doing based on what it's made out of on paper.
It's like we go for help, we're fragmented, and then this other person that has to remain fragmented is trying to help you, and it's not working.
Yeah, or even if, I like that, if you were fragmented and then they were a magnet that was going to try and help put you back together again, or pull you back together, they're only allowed to dial it up to 20% at the max without overstepping their professional lines. Where with the empathy, compassion, and understanding that I've gotten from you and your environment at the studio, that automatically helps open the door to trying to look into your own pain or trouble, because then you're not trying to defend yourself from the healing process. You're actually in it.
Yeah. And I think also, I'm able to approach this healing practice as like, I'm not really a professional. Like, I'm here, this is what's worked for me. Let me share what I'm loving and what's helping my healing journey.
Right.
And we kind of come together as like equals, right? Like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, like where you're going and like that person knows more. Like, we're trusting the wisdom within and being able to connect with your expertise of your body and your internal world.
Right. And then I don't know if this would work that way, but because it's so specific from the practitioner to the client in your work specifically, I'm sure it's a two-way road, where, like, of course you get to approach things in a unique manner, but then you get to learn things about your own field or people or spiritual energies in general, where it's only a one-way road when it comes to the traditional practice. It's not a shared partnership of like trying to gain a better collected wellness. It's just like, we're well, you're not, here's this, or follow this to get there. And it's like, it doesn't seem as genuine as much as it may be, but it just doesn't feel that way emotionally.
So how are you feeling on your healing journey now? Like, what are you looking forward to exploring or doing or continuing? Like, what would be supportive for you?
I know for sure that it's really awakened me to just trying new mediums, and I know there's a lot I haven't tried yet, but it makes me want to continue with the healing sound sessions, and maybe not on a very frequent basis, but definitely a steady rehabilitation basis. And then it's also just helped me see kind of more vulnerable parts of myself, especially with the root chakra, and then dealing with the intimacy of nature. And I've learned a lot about myself in the 2 months that we've been doing this. And so it's helped me to see how to express myself more in singing, poetry, dancing more naturally.
So you've been exploring embodied movement?
And just expression through poetry and singing, but
You're really good at expressing through poetry.
I try, thank you.
Your writing is really good.
I appreciate that.
Tell me about the journaling. Like, not everyone likes to journal, but if you could share, like, why that, and even poetry, like how that helps you.
I think it's because for me personally, when I write poetry, which is my form of journaling, I don't do so lightly, and I don't do it very whimsically. So I'll have a feeling or an idea or an inspiration for a concept, and then I'll follow the emotion that's leading me into this concept. And after I'm done writing the first draft, say, or even get partway through the draft, I'll read it. I'll proofread it time and time again, try to find better grammar, better wordplay, better rhyme schemes, better structure. But then the more I read it, the more I'm also analyzing my own emotions, even if they're abstract. But if I take it as emotional reflection, then it helps me to see the idea deeper as well, and then understand where those emotions were coming from and why. And then with the healthier states of my brain mixed with the emotional pain or trauma that's spilling out through the writing, it's then mixed so then I can proudly make something a little bit more refined instead of it just being abstract spill on the paper. So then turning that pain into something artistic really helps. And that's through dance, through writing, singing. So yeah, there's a lot of just being more expressive and being more...
And you are a very creative, artistic person. So you like painting, drawing, clothes. You express yourself very vibrantly. Your wardrobe and...
Oh yeah, I try.
Not today. Today's just black.
Yeah,
but...
today's functional, yeah.
Well, thanks, Walker. I know that we want to continue exploring and having you be part of the case study, because you're really committed to journaling and participating. And we shall be kind of working on creating a more structured protocol for the case studies, but also receiving some scientific tools to collect data and track the brain and heart rate and stuff like that. So we'll continue exploring this together and learning.
Oh yeah, for sure. That sounds good.
Yeah, and thank you so much for being so open and sharing your story, and in us diving deep into our own journeys and trying to understand how we haven't been supported or what's not working. We can hopefully find better solutions for others and extend a hand of support.
Oh yeah. And thank you, Maria. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been really great getting to know you over the last, I don't know, has it been a year?
Yeah, we're just over a year.
Yeah. So,
time flies.
I think for me, what I've learned is how important community is. And like, we probably would have never been friends had we not met at the social gathering we attended. And just like both been curious about, you know, we have very different lives, we have different interests, let's go for coffee and see how connected we are, even though we have such huge differences.
Because there was enough similar ground where we were at the same function. We had kind of the same mindset, even if they were coming from different places. So that was enough, and it's good to see those doors open when people get together in these sorts of communities. Especially because not just through being your friend now, or friends with Chad and your family, but then getting to know people like Diana better, and it's all just based on community. So I think even if it's been kind of a missed part, that's been a huge part of the healing journey as well. Has just been the communal aspects between being seen and knowing that if you're judged, it's not like based on your character or like a personal thing. It's just basic human judgment. You know, it's not going to be a personal thing.
And how it's so easy to actually connect with everyone if you're open to it. Right?
Now everybody's got their fists up and their barriers up, and it works, but
you can be different. We can like different things, but there's still that, you know, so many things we have in common, and let's not focus on our differences, but what brings us together and how we can support each other and encourage, and I think lead with love, really.
Well, and that's kind of nice, because then leaders lead by example. So then it's just love. Just no matter how small your community is, love it, hopefully build it. And
we don't need a big community, because that can be exhausting too, right? So it's just like, even though we might not see each other that often, we don't hang out socially like we'll get together at least once a month, but
Yeah.
just like we can check in, make sure we're doing okay,
Oh yeah.
say hi, like that can be enough, right?
Yeah, and then we'll have those the small moments or the very kind of frequent moments where we can get together, share in the crafts together, and then
Yeah.
just, I don't know, always be learning more about each other and the people who are around. So it's
Yeah.
always a good time like that.
Well, thanks for doing the video. We'll look back on this and see how far we've come one day.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.